everybody can hear me. I'm looking to my right. Does everybody hear me? So welcome already to the 5th Lisk Builders Community Meetup. It's a weekly community gathering where everybody can share their projects they are working on, or just ideas or challenges they are facing. And we try to have one speaker per week. Today it will be Tom, also known as Endro. And before we go to a presentation of Tom, we will have some quick announcements, and afterwards we'll have a Q&A. So thank you for waiting. We are trying to optimize every week, and now we are at the Lisk Center actually for the first time in a lot of weeks due to Corona. We will also try to make it accessible for the people living in the area over the next few weeks. Set it up so that people can work on a distance. So some other announcements. We have to thank Stellar Dynamic for his boosts, because now we probably have a better quality of streaming on the Discord. Hopefully everybody can follow easily. And last week, Lisk announced two things, or they announced 2 blog posts, one about their financial update and one that all the research up to interoperability has been done. So that means that their research team is totally focused on blockchain interoperability from now on, and that everything they had to research before has been done. So that's a great achievement, and we are looking forward to updates about interoperability, of course. One last announcement for everybody who would like to create a concept with Lisk Builders program, and you are able to acquire a fund or a grant up to 2,500 Swiss francs. So every month you can subscribe to the Lisk Builders program. Before the end of the month, you will be chosen or not. So just try it out and make sure that we create some great proof of concepts. Some rules about the presentation: try to keep questions to the end, try to mute yourself on the Discord channel so that the other people do not have disturbing sounds on the background. And if you would like to ask your question using the microphone, that's possible. You have a push to talk button in your Discord, so you can chat within the Lisk Builders community chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask a question. Let's introduce Endro, or Tom. He will tell you about Lisk Discovery, which is a website totally focused currently on the Lisk Delegates, but he will introduce some new features and his big plan for the future. Welcome, Tom. Thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to your presentation in the next 20-25 minutes.
Thank you. Let's hope I can fill in 25 minutes. Thank you for hosting, actually. It's great to see weekly activity in the community. The meetups are awesome. Joined almost everyone now. So it's awesome. And thank you for having me. I'll share my screen so everybody can see my presentation. Okay. Quick check, can everybody see my screen? No screen?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So today, as mentioned, I will be talking about my project Lisk Discovery. Called it 2.0. It's been a long time in the works, but I have first walked through the agenda for today and see a bit of history, actually. So first, I'll talk about the journey, introduce something new, give you guys a demo, and talk about the roadmap shortly. So the journey actually started in 2018. So it's a long-term project. in the works, and it started with something really small. It was an embedded website scraper, actually, of Reddit posts, some small news articles, but nothing quite like what we are seeing today. Everybody was very interested in the project, and it quickly became sorted on projects. Projects had their own articles, and I tried to scrape them and get project names out of it. And then I stumbled upon the new endeavor. It's the projects that are central in Lisk discovery. So for the entirety of 2019, I focused on mapping out all projects and having them viewable to our community. They had project pages. I imported GitHub issues. People could edit their projects, follow them, and see actually what they're all about. Later that year, I started focusing on something more. Okay. So I focused on 3 pillars, and one was projects, but the other ones were activities and delegates. So for every project on the website, somebody could log activities, and they could see the delegates of Lisk. This was actually a really big pillar because everybody was interested in what delegates actually were doing in our community. So projects and activities became actually tied to the delegate profile, but people could also add projects loosely. So 2020 came, and then I realized, what if I can adapt the current technology stack, the delegates project activities from this discovery to any network built with the Lisk SDK? So it was quite an adventure, but I'm actually proud to say that I'm introducing a new platform on the community called Heller. Heller is a Spanish word for finding out, discovering, and meeting with. So you can find projects, discover them, meet with the people that created those projects, and discover new networks. In a nutshell, Heller will be, like the slide says, every network actually has projects, activities, delegates, also Lisk, of course, but we're now focusing on also those side chains. It's quite a big concept, so I'll talk about some small adjustments that were made. So we have 4 types of projects. Which one is the important? The network project. So every sidechain called network project on the platform will have activities, validator, and campaigns, and have their own set of ecosystem projects, the other 3 types. The other 3 types, tool, platforms, media project, will need to be associated with a network project, but later on can be added to other networks and be cross-network. But that's not the case right now. Projects also have a face property, so people can see which projects are IDs, which projects are proof of concepts, and which ones are going to production. Then the second big pillar is the validators of a network. A validator will have a campaign, and a campaign is actually some type of to show the network what your intentions are for this new network. Campaigns can later on be linked with a network account, but this will be only if the network is integrated. So it's a big step to integrate other blockchains, and that's why the concept campaigns became a huge part of the new platform. Users can then publish their activities with the campaign to indicate their network activity. So it was quite a road, but there are 2 sides of the story. One is the Explorer, where you can view all the projects, activities, and validators. And then we have the console, where you can manage those projects and campaigns. But with further ado, I'll give you guys a demo. I'll switch screens. And this is the new environment I would like to introduce to you guys. It's called heller.io. I'll make sure that liskdiscovery.com will be routed to the new environment for the next year for people that still want to use the Lisk Discovery for nostalgia reasons. But as you can see, our networks are the first thing I wanted to introduce to people. We know of 16 networks in Lisk, and the first one is eventually Lisk, because those are the active ones, because not another project was integrated. So we'll use Lisk as an example. Here you see the overview page of Lisk, where we can see the validators, the activities, and the projects. I introduced also a introduction sidebar where you can always see the information of what the network is all about. This is for quickly getting to know the project. The network tabs is just like in the past, where you can have all delegates that are listed on the platform. And the main difference here is we have validators, but we also have campaigns. Campaigns are the ones that are on the platform. So Lisk has actually got 101 delegates, as you can see, but not all 101 delegates are in this list. So we can toggle this out. And as you can see, we have still all information about all delegates, but we do not want to include them because they don't want to share information on the platform. So in our eyes, those were not our main drivers of the platform. As you can see, you can load more. We tipped on all campaigns are imported now here. And as you can see, we'll use my profile as an example. We can still see all information about Delegate, but the main difference is here. You can see my network address with a full profile link. But if we will see delegates that don't have a campaign, don't have the full profile. We'll quickly go to the person's full profile. And as you can see, this delegate me has 11 activities on the network. We can go to projects that I have built. We can look to it, and we can go back to the network via Lisk. This is all for the Explorer type of project. And I would like to guide you through a scenario on the console that I've built. Now, the main difference between console and the Explorer is that the console has a timeline of all activities of all networks. This will be the timeline, mostly Lisk Magazine, because it's very active, which I very much appreciate on the platform. And on the sidebar, we have your projects. We have the network tab as same on the Explorer. We have invites, accounts, and campaigns. We'll first, just like the Explorer, you can go to the project pages, look through the delegates, interact with them. But for now, we'll go through the scenario of creating our proof of concept for last month called Arcado that I'm building with Michiel Mulders. We'll introduce a new network on Heller. It's a proof of concept. We'll call it Arcado gamifying all your multiplayer matches with the SDK. We're also giving a talk about this in the upcoming months on the weekly meetup. So if you're interested in this concept, we'll be gladly talking about it next month. We'll give you the ticker Arcado, server recommendations, leaving it standard, and we'll have 101 delegates. We'll create the project, and you'll be guided to your console. As you can see, it's active in the projects tab, and we'll open on the dashboard. As you can see, we have some small statistics about your project. We have the details page where you can adjust your information, network, and you can upload media. You can add a YouTube video or a image from your desktop. We'll add an image. Also a new feature. It's nice to see an image of what the network is about. You can also watch the image instantly. We now have a network project with no delegates. So we would like to invite new delegates and inform them about the new network. We can have a list of all networks on our platform, and we can go to, for example, me. We can select and invite the campaign. It's an existing campaign on the delegates list, as you saw before. We can go to our invitations tab and see that the Arcado network invited us. We would like to visit the Arcado network. Okay, very interesting, gamifying all your multiplayer matches. I'm quite interested in that network and would like to accept that invite. So let's create a campaign for this network. We can choose to be a user or a team because teams are also present on Lisk. I also wanted to visualize this on the platform, which will go for a user campaign. We'll select the Arcado network and choose a username. This username is actually your identity of your campaign. So as you will see later, every username is on a network. So everybody can create a similar username on any network. You can create this and you'll see my identity is Arcado/Endro. We can add a bio location where you're on the earth, website, Twitter, and all the necessary information to indicate who you are. We can go to my profile. We can also go to the Arcado network and see that there's a new delegate on the Arcado network. We can also visit this on the Explorer part. And as you can see, we have one campaign. We can also view this on the Explorer. And we would like to indicate what we're actually about. So if you can go to activities, it's a nice pop-up. And we would like to announce our delegate. We can create this activity. Activity is created, and we can view the activities. If we reload, we can also see the activity present. We can also go to the main Explorer, and we can see that the last activity was 14 May. This is to show the community when last time a community was active. Did I miss something? I think this is it for the demo. I also had like an infomercial because it's a lot to process and very different from the last website I had. Call it a platform, not a website. So yeah, we have activities that go way back. Okay, this is it for the demo. If there are questions, please put them in the chat and I'll go back to the demo and show you guys an answer to your question. Some statistics about the Lisk discovery platform that we'll say goodbye to. We have 16,000 page views. 2,600 of them are returning visitors, so it's a big community. 3.3 page views per user. That's specifically on the project pages, because if a person visits the platform, they mostly look for specific projects. And almost all users, more than a half, are desktop. Our users are mainly in USA, Poland, Japan, Germany, and the Netherlands, sorry. And our future. We do want to build a genuine relation between networks and those communities, because every community will have their own space, and we want to facilitate this better. We will provide better support for projects in different stages, because ID projects would most likely not be interested in validators overviews, but mostly want to have input on their IDs, their code, how they would run a SDK, and such extra stuff. We would like to integrate more sidechains on the platform. Now it's only Lisk, but we would very much would like to introduce more blockchains onto the platform, so we have a more conclusive list of validators and their information. And we would like to have your input, because we're still a community project, and it's very important that we would like your input. I provided a Google Forms. I would highly recommend you filling this form in, because your input can choose the direction that we're going with the platform. So thank you. And if there are questions, I would very much like to answer them.
Thanks, Tom. Really cool presentation, and really congratulations with launching Heller.
Thanks.
I see a couple of questions already in the Lisk Builders community channel. So the first question is, are you planning to have API calls for your platform?
I think I'm already in the talks with Carbonara. He's also working on a project, and he's very much interested in putting a face on the delegates and using those profile images, for example. So I do will open up the API in the right manner, of course, and when it's ready. For now, it's all behind the authentication layer, but we can have a talk about it if you really want to push this forward. If I understand correctly, all Lisk discovery content database will be transferred to the new platform. That already is done last week. So every information normally would be on it, and if not, I would appreciate you talking with me, because then something went wrong. Can Chinese people use this Heller without VPN in the future? I don't know, actually. It's a website accessible for the entire world. So I think you can use it with a VPN. Are you planning to create a ranking based on stats from other networks or the possible delegates, so new campaigns can easily find open for corporation people to fill in spots with the proper offer? Yeah, that's the main idea. I want to build a genuine relationship between networks and validators. That also means that the campaign profile will be extended to facilitate a better understanding for projects on what their intentions are, what skill set they have. and what the requirements are for the project and the requirements on the campaign side. So they can meet in the middle. Thank you for the questions. Also.
So are there more questions? I do not see anybody typing at the moment. I also have a couple of questions, maybe if we still have time for that.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe also for the people who do not know Lisk that well, if you are creating a project, it means you are creating a sidechain or a network. If I understand correctly, if you put a project on your on your platform, then it means that you are creating your own sidechain.
Yeah, basically. You can also create tools, platforms, but those will need to be connected to a network built with the SDK.
Yeah, yes, and the most of the networks, if they are using the same algorithm as Lisk, they will be using delegated proof of stake. So that means that most of the networks will have an amount of servers running by delegates instead of everybody who could set up a server and mine. So that's what you. So the delegates are the ones who are using your platform to actually. Why would a delegate use your platform? That's the question.
Yeah. So a delegate mostly are people that want to be validating blocks. In delegated proof of stake, delegates should be voted on, and they get votes from the community for their efforts, or if they were early adopters. Delegates, they develop projects, but the main concern that we have with those people is that they only can post their campaign in a small chat window on the Lisk server, Discord server. So what Lisk Discovery done in the past is show the world what their efforts were on the network and why should vote for these people to secure your network. Now, with the new Heller.io and in the future Lisk, actually, they will provide an SDK where people will build networks, decentralized networks, and all those decentralized networks will use the delegated proof of stake. At the beginning of Lisk, it was quite hard to find delegates. And I think, and mostly people would agree that it's hard to find one-on-one people that would like to join your network immediately. So you have to build up a community around your ID, find the right people to help you. And this is where Hello.io will fill in the gap, is to facilitate a platform that people can see people's IDs and join them on every campaign terms. So I can, for example, start Arcado network and see, okay, there's a very interesting campaign on the Lisk. I would like to invite those people to my network and have a chat with them, or invite them to help me validate the blocks of my network. And that's in a nutshell what I'm trying to tackle, is for new networks built with the SDK to start up a big network much faster.
So that's cool. So you're a bridge between those projects and networks.
Yeah.
And is it possible to also extend it beyond Lisk?
This is mainly focused on Lisk, and everything is specifically fine-tuned for validators and accounts and transactions, etc. So it could be possible that the technology could adapt to other networks, for example, Cosmos, but mainly this would be for proof of stake or delegated proof of stake, where people are interested in the activities behind a network node and not about their mathematical power. So it could be possible, but I think it's quite a journey to refactor the entire platform.
Yes. And my last question, what would your dream be with Halar?
My dream, damn. To see a thriving community of Lisk building SDKs from ID to production in the right manner. I want to see discussions about an ID, for example, people picking up the ID, improving the ID, and start up testnets and inviting other peoples that want to have a campaign on the network of the new network, and build with the community, entire Lisk community, new networks, or other people from other communities to join in the discussion and help to improve the decentralized world, to facilitate the entire journey.
Cool. Thanks. So thank you for your presentation. And if there are no more questions, then I think we will go on and end this community stand-up with some short announcements.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And join us within a couple of weeks when you're going to announce the proof of concept you are building.
Yeah. Maybe I'll push Michiel to do the presentation.
Last time he did pretty well at Lisk.js, I remember.
Yeah, he's a great presenter. I will fix that. He will be presenting.
Cool. Thank you. Then I will share my screen. You're welcome. Yeah. So we will end with a couple of announcements, actually, that tomorrow, be sure that you are tuning into the AMA from Lisk about their research. There's an AMA with their, I think, their research team, Jan Hakveld, and another one, which name I unfortunately do not remember. One sec. With Jan Hakveld and Eiker. Eiker is also there. So join the AMA at Lisk at 4 p.m. this time. And if you would like to pitch your project or would like to present or are looking for project members, just ask us and you are able to present 1 week here, or we can connect you to somebody else. And be sure to subscribe to the Lisk Builders program if you have ideas. And next week we will have Stellar Dynamic from the US, and he will be presenting, I think, Chronicler. So be sure to, he will be presenting sidechain solutions next week at this time. So be sure to tune in and discover what sidechain solutions is, and also check out halar.io. Thank you for today and see you next week.